Anyways, YouTube, it's been a while. Hello, we are back. We are watching the entire Cyberpunk 2077 story explained. As you know, I just recently finished Cyberpunk 2077. If you guys haven't watched it, it might be because YouTube has probably shadow banned them because nudity scenes, and I didn't really blur out some of them. But then again, I didn't think I needed to blur it out because they're covered. I have sensory on. But anyways, let's get into it, shall we? Also, if you guys enjoyed the Cyberpunk playthrough and want me to do more of the endings, because we only did 2 endings really, and we didn't well, actually 3, but we didn't do the rogue ending in the base game. Let me know if you guys want me to do the rogue ending. I actually made a new character and played it again and did a lot more of the side quests and stuff. It's a very, very fun game, I can't lie. But we're going to react to Cyberpunk 2027 story explained, and if you guys like the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Much love, brothers, and yeah, comment if you guys want me to do that rogue story. Let's get into it.
20, a younger Harry, very bored of doing Let's Plays, decided to do something different and write a script explaining the lore of the newly released Cyberpunk 2077. That turned into a full story video which did well, and well, the rest is history.
Also, let me just make sure this is Gaming Harry. This is Gaming Harry. Holy, 2 years ago? Anyways, this is Gaming Harry. I'll leave his the video link down below in the description, plus his channel and everything. So make sure you guys go check him out if you guys like this video.
Anyway, after its disastrous launch, Cyberpunk was a huge mess when it first dropped due to bugs and poor optimization and, the game not being ready. And it remained that way for a good few months. CD Projekt Red's reputation was severely damaged. The patches rolled in, but many of the issues still remained. But gradually over the course of the last 2 years or so, the game has slowly turned into the polished experience we all expected. With the arrival of the Cyberpunk 2.0 update, the majority of the issues seem to be gone, and everything, including various gameplay elements, have been revamped to make the game a much more enjoyable experience. And this includes the skill upgrade tree, which is now far better. As well as update 2, the much anticipated DLC titled Phantom Liberty dropped a few days ago, and it was fantastic. It gave new endings to the base game, which I feel ties the story off a lot better. Now, even though I did a story video for the base game, I'll be recovering the main story beats of the main game. So I
never even watched Cyberpunk, like when it originally came out. I never watched it, or I literally just watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners like a few weeks ago. Dude, that shit was peak. I don't know why I was so like against watching Cyberpunk and everything. Well, I wasn't against it. I was just more like, it's too much time, and I don't really care about the genre or whatever it has to deal with. But after getting into it, bro, this shit is cool, man. It is insane. Like, also that fucking, oh my god, Cyberpunk Edge Runners is so peak, but like so annoyingly, like, what the fuck, man? Like, are we dead ass? I mean, I can probably spoil it, but I won't. You guys know.
Some context.
For the people that know, you know what I'm talking about. Like, how do we let that happen, bruh?
As to what is going on in Phantom Liberty. Please be aware that there will be spoilers for this video for the base game and the new DLC.
Spoilers ahead! The fall of the
Cyberpunk
US.
lore regarding the US,
God,
the United States is called the NUSA, or the New United States of America. In America, a decline happened in the late 1980s, and the 4 major government agencies, the NSA, CIA, FBI, and the DEA, formed a coalition behind the US president's back, ending federal democracy in the process, and they became known as the Gang of Four. They would actually later go on to assassinate the president and the vice president. Many states in the US, such as Texas, then declared themselves free states, unwilling to be a part of whatever is happening.
Oh my god, it's
then
so
in
bright.
1990, the US started a war on drugs and communism, but this was just a front so they could invade South American countries. This war led to a rise in demand for cybernetics and cyberware, as soldiers would come back from the war missing limbs. The war then came to a head when a nuclear bomb was detonated in New York by the Colombian cartels in retaliation for messing with their drug trade. In order to try and repair the damage to the collapsing US economy, the government tried to rectify this by manipulating US and European stock markets, but this failed too, and a financial meltdown followed. This then led to corporations seizing power for themselves, gangs grew and took over large areas. Richard Knight founded Coronado City in the 1990s as Knight was concerned by the state of things in America, and he had ambitions of building his dream city with no crime or poverty. He started his own company called Knight International and got to work in designing this city, a city that would be governed, controlled and
concerned by the violence and disruption of the impending collapse, Knight decided that he was uniquely situated to deal with the problem, starting a side company, Knight Industries, to protect his partners. Knight began to plan a new city, an environment that would be controlled and ultimately safe from the ravages. Tearing the world apart, his new city would be completely planned, self-sufficient, and capable of holding off even the most determined marauders. I hope I said that right. It would boast planned neighborhoods dedicated to preserving the feel of different types of nationalities and cultures, as well as a super modern corporate center that would stand as a shining beacon of enlightened capitalism. It was ambitious, far-reaching, and visionary in its approach. The only problem was where to put it. Knight was going to need a lot of land for his new city development, as well as access to both ocean ports and modern highways to deliver the huge amount of materials that he would need to construct it. He sent scouting teams to scout the east and west coasts of the besieged United States, but in the end, it was a small article in the San Francisco Chronicle that caught.
Managed exclusively by corporations.
Let me just give me a... I read that shit. I fucking read that shit. Anyways. Wait, what is this sound? Oh. I forgot I have that.
It would cost a lot of money, but the tax benefits of Coronado City meant that many large corporations became interested in doing business there, and as a result, and with investment by corporations such as Japanese security company Arasaka, Euro Business Machine Corporation and Petrochem, the city's potential grew very fast. By 1992, it had already had the potential to be a capitalist utopia. Problems arose in its construction though. None of the corporations on board specialized in construction.
The mob moves in. We don't need this.
This led to the mafia and yakuza mobs on
the fall of Night City. This might be more. The West Coast mobs, mafia, yakuza, etc., had maintained a stronghold on heavy construction on the left coast for decades. They controlled the construction unions, the transport unions, and most of the governmental agencies in charge of construction licenses, environmental impacts, and other building necessities. By investing a not inconsiderable sum in the partnership through a series of shell incorporations, the mobs hoped to not only make holy shit, I tried to read way too fast. The mobs hoped to not only make a staggering amount of return on lucrative construction work, but also have the inside track on future gambling, prostitution. Wait, what? Well, wait. I might have read. By investing a not in partnership through the mobs hope to not only make a staggering amount of return on lucrative construction work, but also have the inside track on future gambling, prostitution, and damn. Anyways.
West Coast, who controlled the construction unions and had the monopoly on construction licensing, foreseeing that they could make a lot of money through the construction contracts in Coronado City, as well as moving into the city to set up rackets and criminal enterprises into the city. And for a while they did have the construction contracts. They created shell corporations in order to invest in the project. But the things that may happen by letting the mob in were the very things that Richard Knight didn't want to happen in his city. Richard Knight would avoid this by cutting ties with the old unions and associations.
Knight's visionary plan required using his own advanced building techniques and materials, excluding a number of established unions and construction firms controlled by his organized crime partners. This didn't make them happy, and Knight's further insistence that his new city would be safe and crime-free, it angered them even more. During the first 4 years of construction, there were daily threats against Knight's life.
He'd been working with, and he would source his own materials. And for 4 years, construction would continue under Knight's guidance.
Okay, did you guys read all the fucking readable items in Cyberpunk 20s? I know some people dead ass did it. I could not do it. Like, it would be literally a novel. But there's so much shit that you can read in Cyberpunk that, bro, I cannot be bothered. I'd rather watch a YouTube video telling me the important ones.
But then, as was inevitable, Richard Knight was assassinated in 1998, and Coronado City was renamed Knight City in his honor. Knight's widow, Miriam, and Coronado City.
California After Dusk, the life of Richard Knight. Richard Knight was doomed to fail. Oh my god, Richard Knight. Doomed? Anyways, not because his vision was inherently impossible to realize, to recreate, or to realize. Anyways, to realize, but because many important, powerful people wished to make it so. Richard Knight was murdered. The city whose foundations he laid was finished after his death, but his utopian dream soon became a dystopian nightmare, even the original name was lost. In honor of the city's tragically deceased founder, Coronado City was rechristened Night City. Ironically, the name fits. If anything, the city is a cat. Sleepy during the day, it comes frantically alive at night, and it loves to toy with its prey. Nice. Rip Richard Knight.
City was renamed Night City in his honor. Knight's widow, Miriam, would then use her late husband's fortune to shut down Knight International and rebuild it as Knight Corporation, focusing more on renovations and repairing public facilities, and chose not to get involved in corporate affairs. Knight's death led to a power struggle, though, and through this uncertainty, organized crime rose steadily. The corporations would be vying for power and dominance, and were bubbling
in my second gameplay. I made a net running girl, and first of all, net runners, bro, I promise you, that shit is cheat code. I don't even fight my opponents usually. Like, I can just constantly hack them. But I want to make a guy and make a heavy hitter guy, like just one punch. Anyways,
towards a conflict. So the corporations vying for power led to war, and lots of it. Prior to the game's events, there were 3 corporate wars. Corporations grew into megacorporations, and these megacorps ended up with more power than the actual government. Mixing business interests with political ones was no longer frowned upon, but was actually encouraged, and this led to the corporations pretty much running everything, and they would abuse their power. They were also given unlimited access to the Earth's natural resources. Now, this led to environmental collapse. It was made worse by the fact that Middle Eastern countries were embroiled in nuclear war themselves, and the entire region ended up a radioactive wasteland, and this led to a severe lack of oil. In 2021, 2 marine biotech companies went to war to assert their dominance over their sector. IHAG had foolishly attempted to take on another company, OTEC. IHAG's research ventures failed. As a result, IHAG were forced to declare bankruptcy. Another company called Sino would enter the picture and would try and complete a hostile takeover, but OTEC would try to prevent that from happening. Sino's negotiator would go to table a bid for IHAG, but they were mysteriously kidnapped. OTEC, trying to gain the upper hand in what became a hostile situation, hired a US firm called Militech, who were in the business of manufacturing military hardware. Militech were hired to protect the interests of OTEC. Sino followed suit and hired a Japanese firm called Arasaka, who dealt primarily in corporate security. They were a huge rival of Militech, so it didn't take much convincing, and this led to the Fourth Corporate War, which consisted of 3 different smaller wars: the Ocean, Shadow, and Hot Wars. The Ocean War was a covert affair, mostly consisting of assassinations and theft of confidential information. Individuals known as netrunners were employed by both sides so that they could do damage to the other company's stock holdings, and this caused more damage to the global economy. Eventually, thanks to mediation by a company called Eurobank, Sino and OTEC declared a truce, but Militech and Arasaka were not done, and this led to the Shadow War. This consisted of both sides carrying out attacks and then blaming the other. The Hot War came shortly after, and was the most violent part of the conflict. Cities were destroyed and many citizens were either killed or were made refugees. Militech and Arasaka would heavily invest more and more money into weapons tech and development. Citizens of the world turned on Militech and Arasaka given the damage they had done to the world, so governments around the world decided to nationalize the interests of Militech and Arasaka in their respective countries.
What would be our Arasaka? I wonder what company would be like our Arasaka that would try to run our world type shit. Google? You guys think Google could turn evil? Or would it be a fucking Japanese company? I actually have no idea. I wonder what would be our fucking company that would try to just come in and be like powerhouse.
Arasaka Towers, located in Night City, was one of the last remaining parts of their US empire. A group of mercenaries from a group called the Atlantis Group were sent in to blow Arasaka Towers up using a tactical nuclear bomb. This destroyed the tower, but it also claimed the lives of many people in Night City, in an event that will be dubbed the Night City Holocaust. Arasaka finally conceded after pressure from the Japanese government. The president of the US at the time was a lady called Elizabeth Kress. She held Arasaka personally responsible for the nuclear bomb which destroyed part of Night City, but the public didn't buy that at all.
What really happened? Blah 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 blah. Silverhand, blah blah blah. Rock boy, whole thing. In fact, I'm not really a Silverhand fan. Period. Silverhand was a poser, a blowhard, not someone who would actually follow through on his grandiose bluffs. Full disclosure, I just don't think Silverhand would have the balls to pull off something like that.
All. They surmised that Militech hired the mercenaries, and in response, Crest nationalized Militech, and this allowed the US government to use Militech assets to strengthen their own position in the world. This led to many manufacturers and corporations closing down due to the now heavy sets of regulations in place. Truth is that Kress was the former president of Militech, so blaming Arasaka to absolve her former employers was an obvious move. Kress had no interest in helping Night City rebuild after the devastation, so Night City rebuilt on its own with the help of people known as nomads, along with the help of small corporations. Also known as cyberspace, the net is a vast telecommunications network. Due to the Fourth Corporate War and the Militech and Arasaka netrunners wreaking havoc on it, the net was filled with deadly programs and viruses. The net was then policed by a company known as Netwatch. After the damage Militech and Arasaka had done, Netwatch placed communication bans on both corporations. The net, however, was too severely damaged as a result of the war. The net also suffered
If your Ripper Doc said that he had a part and it was for your dick, would you take it? Would you modify your dick? I want to know. Let me know in the comments, YouTube. I'm just asking. Would you modify your dick?
Netrunner and hacker by the name of Rach Bartmoss. Bartmoss himself was approached by Militech, and Bartmoss was convinced by an AI to help him take a shot.
We can modify your dick, and it can grow into like, I don't know, 20 inches for no apparent reason. Like, do I even want a 20? No, but like, just to have it, sure. Like, hello? If it can go into any size perfectly, whatever size that woman wants, I'm saying, Ripperdoc, Vic, hey, sign me the fuck up, my boy.
Arasaka. He hated the corporations and used his skills in the net to harass these corporations. Roach Bartmoss created something called Rabbids. It was a virus and a program that defied tyrannical corporate control.
Though, I do have a question. Would I be able to feel it? Would all the nerves be gone that I don't feel it? It just pleasures them? I wonder. But my ego would be so stroked, it would be so insane.
And was to be triggered in the event of his death. However, when he died, instead of its main purpose, which was to breach data
fortresses, found this body in my second
making
playthrough.
The information inside accessible to anyone, the virus infected nearly 80% of the net. Stocks plummeted, data was corrupted, and military AIs became dangerous ones. Bartmoss's body would be kept and located inside a cryogenic freezer. He had a contract with a company who kept the freezer safe.
It's right by the body of
that contract. The freezer was discarded at the Night City landfill site. Anyway, after the fourth corporate war had concluded, Netwatch attempted to revive the extremely damaged net by establishing something called the Black Wall and locking rogue AIs behind it. The Black Wall is a powerful security barrier which made it extremely hard or damn near impossible for netrunners to penetrate. The breaching of the Black Wall is strictly forbidden, but of course netrunners would still try.
The Unification War.
In 2069, a new NUSA president was elected, Rosalind Myers, the former CEO of Militech. Myers aimed to bring forward...
Rosalind. Is Rosalind. There's no way you call it Rosalind. There's no way that's actually how you pronounce Rosalind. It's Rosalind. Rosalind. I swear to God.
A unification program which will see
I'll
the
even
NUSA
take Rosa
regain control
and
of the
Lynn.
free states under the guise of strengthening the nation.
Wait, is that what you
This
said?
program
No, it's
included
Rosalind.
Night
I don't
City,
care. It's Rosalind.
But Night City
You
was
don't call it
determined to
Rosalind.
hold on to its autonomy.
Wait, I don't even know what we call it
Rosalind
anymore.
Myers
I
declared
quit.
war on the
My
free
bad.
separatist
Unification
states,
War is the most
kicking off
recent armed conflict to take place in North America since the collapse. Lasting from January 2069 to June 2070. Whoa, holy shit, we're getting to those years actually. What the fuck? That's scary. Although the Unification War is formally recognized as a war between the new United States of America and USA and the governments of the free states, most scholars also classify the conflict as a corporate war. It is my bad. 3, 2, 1. It is well known that the NUSA was backed by Militech hardware, personnel, and other resources. What the fuck is that word? Whereas, oh fuck me, god damn, my brain could not comprehend what whereas was. Anyways, whereas the free states received a significant yet tacit what the fuck is that word? Tacit what the fuck is tacit? Anyways, significant yet support of the Arasaka Corporation. The Unification War is also sometimes referred to as the Meta War. Metal War. Why did I say meta? I think I said meta. Metal War. Holy shit, this was a bad... Oh my god. Metal War in reference to the wide use of armored cavalry units, so-called panzers, I think is what...
The Unification War. The NUSA, armed with Militech assets, given that they'd nationalised Militech, kicked things off, and given the new weapons being used, the war was quickly nicknamed the Metal War. Arasaka would secretly arm and supply weapons to the Free States, but this all came to a head when in 2070, after Night City was invaded by the army of the NUSA, a councilman in Night City named Lucius Rhine pleaded to Arasaka for help. Within a few days, an Arasaka supercarrier arrived in Night City, and the NUSA pulled out. NUSA and the Free States signed a treaty known as the Arvin Accord. Night City becomes a city-state that would participate in the federal government, but would retain its autonomy, and this would prevent future conflict.
Wow.
Arasaka, under the leadership of Saburo Arasaka, had managed to rebuild themselves and had secured very large contracts, securing their status as a dominant corporation again. Night City being a free state and not part of the NUSA, Arasaka re-established themselves in Night City and were allowed to rebuild Arasaka Tower right on top of where the previous one used to stand. But the corporations would continue to grow their influence in the city.
I was talking to my friend one time about this game, and he played it before me, right? He's the one who actually got me into Cyberpunk. But, like, tell me that, like, am I the only one who thought... I didn't know we were in the US. Okay, to be fair, they probably said it somewhere around the game, and I wasn't paying attention or some shit. But for a few, like, minutes in the game, or, like, for a while, sorry, I was like... Am I in Japan, or where am I? Am I in Japan, New York, or fucking LA? Where am I? And I thought this whole time I was in fucking Japan, because it's so, like... Tell me this shit does not remind you of Tokyo type beat shit. Like, I know most, like, come on, at least it felt so, like, Tokyo themed, or, like, high-tech, yeah, like, high-tech Tokyo shit. I was like, huh. And apparently it's in, like, LA or something, right? It's in fucking San Francisco. And I was like, what the fuck? This is San Fran? Since when the fuck did they, you know? But, yeah.
In 2017...
I guess I should have known, because look at the fucking palm trees on the right there. But, like, in my mind, I was like, this is so, like, everybody kind of, like... There's a lot of Asian, like, theme and everything. I was like, huh, am I in Japan? But I guess it is San Fran, so it's local Asians, or SoCal. Oh my god, did I say local? SoCal Asians. So I was like, huh. But
relevant to this video, Night City security forces would attempt to evacuate a Night City borough called Pacifica.
I guess, you know, I might just be
had
dumb.
Been an area with plans to turn it into a tourist
dumb.
hub and vacationer's dream during the previous year. But this project collapsed as a result of the potential unification.
The Voodoo Boys. What we know and what we don't. It comes as no great surprise that the Haitians? Haitians? The Haitians? You know what? I quit. You guys can leave that on your
and many
place,
workers
so.
lost their jobs after funding for the project.
I quit.
As a result, the area is unfinished.
Mega ride.
Over the next 7 years,
you can actually ride the roller coaster. Did anyone know that?
It became increasingly impoverished and gangs moved in. Most notably a netrunner gang called the Voodoo Boys, which consisted mostly of Haitians who were refugees after
Haitians. Oh my god, man. I think I said it, but like, man.
Was destroyed by flooding in 2062. The borough of Pacifica was left to fend for itself by the NCPD, so it's now a lawless area of the city. One of the sub-districts of Pacifica, and even more relevant to this video, is Dogtown. During the Unification War, an NUSA colonel named Kurt Hansen gained control of a portion of Pacifica in an NUSA operation called Midnight Storm. This area was the combat zone. He refused to leave after the ceasefire, and Hansen stayed in Night City, asserting his dominance as a dictator and cordoning off an area of Pacifica, calling it Dogtown, which was to be governed by Hansen himself along with his militia, the Barghest. Dogtown was then walled off from the rest of Night City. The only people who end up there are people on the run from corporations, gangs, police, or people who just think that the grass is greener. A specialised medical intervention team known as Trauma Team don't venture into Dogtown because 1. People in Dogtown generally don't have Trauma Team cover, and 2. Well, because it's just too dangerous. Speaking of gangs in Night City, the prominent ones that V will come into contact with are the Maelstrom, Animals, Voodoo Boys, 6th Street, the Mox, Tiger Claws and Valentinos. But that's enough of the lead up to what happens in Cyberpunk 2077, so let's get into the storyline. So starting the story off, V can emerge from one of 3 different life paths. The first is the Nomad life path. In this one, V grew up in the Badlands, which is essentially a vast region which stretches across the states of Northern and Southern California. Nomads were gangs who saw themselves as families, or even their own nations.
Yeah.
They were groups of people that would plunder empty and abandoned military facilities and warehouses for scrap and leftover parts. Nomads effectively helped revive the dying tech trade back in the 2020s. As mentioned, they also helped rebuild Night City. V was part of the Backers clan. V had left after their clan had agreed a merger with another nomad clan called Snake Nation, the largest of all the nomad clans. After some car trouble and contacting an old contact in the Backers clan, V meets with a man named Jackie Wells, a Night City native and member of the Valentinos gang.
Jackie
Wells
needs
someone to help him smuggle sensitive cargo across the border, through customs and into Night City. So that's where V comes in. After meeting and bribing the border agent, they gain entry. The border guard sells them out though, and V and Jackie are chased through the Biotechnica flats by Arasaka agents. They lose them though and find refuge inside a garage. They discover that the item they were transporting belonged to Arasaka, which is why they wanted it so badly, and it's revealed to be a real, live, genuine iguana, a rare commodity in 2077. After getting acquainted with the reptile, V and Jackie decide to go to Night City, sell the reptile.
Did you know you could get an iguana egg from the first big mission? You can get an iguana egg from the Arasaka Tower with the fucking son of whatever Arasaka. His little iguana statue thing. You can grab an egg and you can hatch it in some amount of days in the game. But yeah.
And partner up and work together.
You should go and do that if you haven't.
Growing up the child of corpo parents, V ended up working for Arasaka.
Wait. He made a guy, nomad, a corpo girl. If he makes a guy a street guy, he did exactly what I did. I did a corpo girl, and I'm gonna do a guy nomad.
Counterintelligence. They're under a lot of stress and it's taking a toll on their health. The reason for this is that there's been a leak regarding some covert Arasaka agents in Frankfurt, Germany. The situation has damaged the company's relationship with the European Space Council, who controls the majority of the space-related activity on Earth. In other words, they're a very good ally to have. V goes to see her boss, a man called Arthur Jenkins. She walks in just as Jenkins orders the entire Space Council to be flatlined. Jenkins is bitter because another higher-up called Susan Abernathy, the director of special operations at Arasaka, stole his promotion to that role after she slandered him. Jenkins hands V a wad of cash and tells him to arrange the assassination of Abernathy. V then goes to Lizzie's bar to discuss the details of said assassination contract with close friend Jackie Wells. Before they can get too far into discussing the plan though, which Jackie objected to, Abernathy's Arasaka security team show up and interrogate V, take everything from them including their money and their job, and leave them there with nothing. Turns out that it was V's assistant Carter Smith who informed Abernathy about V's and Jenkins' assassination plans.
Bruh.
And finally, in the street kid path, V, having grown up in the Haywood district of Night City, and after having left Night City for Atlanta 2 years earlier, is back in the city after Atlanta didn't work out. V is in the El Coyote Coyo bar and are straightening their nose after a fight. V's friend and the bar's bartender Pepe owes some money to a problematic local fixer called Kirk. Speaking to Kirk, V accepts a job at stealing an expensive vehicle, a Rayfield Erendite, from a high-flying corpo agent. Leaving the bar, V meets an old friend, Padre, the priest from the Valentinos gang, who gives them a lift. On the way, a man from another gang, 6th Street, called Sam Carter, confronts Padre over turf. V gets to the garage and gets into the car, but who knocks on the window? It's Jackie Wells. Seems that he was also there to steal the same vehicle. Anyway, the NCPD turn up and arrest both V and Jackie. The owner of the vehicle tells the police to get rid of V and Jackie, but instead of killing them, the police beat them up and drop them in an alley back in Haywood. Jackie and V talk, and it seems that V knows Jackie's mother Guadalupe, or Mama Wells, and after accepting the offer of a meal, V becomes good friends with Jackie. After all the 3 life paths, V and Jackie do various jobs for cash, until the point that V has had enough saved to buy their own apartment in one of the mega buildings in the city, H10. The 3 paths all lead to the same outcome, and branch towards the main campaign, which we'll discuss next.
Main story.
6
part
months later,
one.
Jackie and V have built up enough street cred in order to be offered a job by a fixer from the Westbrook district, Wakako Okada, who is affiliated with the Tiger Claws gang.
We know this.
V and Jackie, along with their netrunner
We know the
colleague
main
T-Bug,
story
are
and
to
everything,
locate a
but
missing person named
the
Sandra
beginning was
Dorset.
very interesting.
She
I actually
herself
knew
is a
none of that,
corpo
basically.
netrunner,
I'm not
and she
gonna lie.
works for Knight
I
Corporation.
never even knew
She's
there
been
was a
kidnapped
Richard
by a group
Knight
of
or
people
something.
known as scavengers or scavs.
Ew.
They are predators that like to kidnap people and steal their cybernetic implants to sell on the black market. After taking out all of the scavs along with their leader, V and Jackie find Sandra. She's non-responsive. V is advised by T-Bug to jack into Dorset's biomonitor. She has the highest level of trauma team coverage, essentially emergency medical services for the rich, but her transmitter was blocked, so V removes the jammer. Sandra starts to flatline, it's code for dying. After administering temporary aid, Sandra is taken outside where she is now collected by trauma team. Upon returning home after being attacked by more scavs and getting a good night's sleep, V wakes up and feels rough. They go downstairs to see Jackie, who breaks the news that a big fixer by the name of Dexter Sean wants to speak with them about a gig. This is their chance to enter the big leagues in terms of mercenary work. Meeting with Victor Vector, a close friend of Jackie and V and a Ripperdoc, it turns out that V contracted a norovirus from Sandra Dorset after he jacked into her biomonitor, which is why he's been feeling rough. Vic flushes it out and gives V a brand new optical upgrade with a police scanner built in, along with a new grip for his hand. Moving on, V meets Dex.
That's
Dex has
who
a
it
main
is.
gig available.
Dexter Sean or something. Dexter Deshawn, I believe his name is. The body in the fridge is right next to his body that Takamura shot.
There is a prototype piece of technology, a biochip. The job is to steal it from none other than Arasaka. Before they can do that though, Dex needs V to do two things. The first is that Dex brought a flathead robot off of the Maelstrom gang for the heist. The Maelstrom stole it off of a Militech convoy, and Militech have no idea who stole it. Problem is that after Dex bought the bot, Maelstrom have been ghosting him after a change of leadership within the gang. V has a choice whether or not to involve Militech. If he does, he meets with Militech agent Meredith Stout. She believes there to be a mole inside Militech leaking convoy routes and believes it to be that of Anthony Gilchrist, another Militech employee. V offers Meredith Stout info on who stole the flathead, and in exchange she gives him the money to buy it and to keep it. V can either choose to pay for it again and leave with the flathead, or to just kill the new leader Royce and take it anyway. Either way, the flathead is procured. The second part of the prep for the job is to meet with the client who ordered the gig. V
By the way, there's a way to keep Meredith Stout happy, or no, keep Meredith Stout alive, I believe. There's a way to make Jackie Wells the most happy out of the income, and it was out of the outcome is basically pay out of your own pocket. Which is I think hard to do at the beginning because there's not many jobs and you have to scavenge enough fucking money to do it, but I think you can do it because that's an option. So yeah, you have to pay it out fully and just leave and not talk to the Meredith Stout stuff or do the Meredith Stout or the Maelstorm's route, because in Maelstorm's route, if you tell them that the chip is infected, the Arasaka or I forgot the corporation or whatever, they'll come in and attack you. But in the there's a route where you take and you don't have to fight the corpos, but you'll fight Maelstrom. But here's the thing, Meredith Stout will be dead. There's another route where you can fight, where you can kill Royce and you can kill Brick and keep Meredith Stout alive, but like you have to kill the Maelstrom boys. And I don't know if you like Maelstrom.
Goes to Lizzie's bar and meets with the client Evelyn Parker. She states that the biochip is something known as the Relic, and it's Arasaka's prized possession. It's part of something called the Secure Your Soul program, the key to immortality. Arasaka has poured billions into personality transfer technology. Evelyn isn't interested in the technology, just the data on said chip, although she doesn't elaborate any further. She says the heist will take place in Konpeki Plaza, Night City's most exclusive hotel, or more specifically, in Yorinobu Arasaka's penthouse suite. Yorinobu is the son of Saburo Arasaka, who at one point rebelled against his family, joining a nomad clan at war with his own family. But that's another story. Nonetheless, Yorinobu is a nomad clan at war.
Over the next few years, various eyewitnesses spotted Yorinobu in the company of a nomad group known as Kotetsu no Ryo, or the Steel Dragons. As part of the youthful rebellion, he purposely involved himself in altercations with Arasaka agents and promoted anti-corporate slogans. After his family eventually confirmed Yorinobu's involvement, Saburo reannounced his son Kai, Saburo's eldest son, swore to exact revenge on his younger brother. Ironically, it was later at Kei's funeral that Yorinobu at last reconciled with his father. Stubbornly proud to a fault, many were surprised by Arasaka's patriarch's conciliatory approach. What caused Saburo to change his mind? What role might have Yorinobu's sister Hanako played in their peaceable reunion? That much yet remains to be discovered. Hanako is a baddie. Anyways.
With his own family, but that's another story.
Can I join the
Nonetheless,
Arasaka
Yorinobu is Saburo's only surviving son
Hanako,
and heir to the Arasaka Empire. Yorinobu, it turns out, had stolen the relic from one of Saburo Arasaka's laboratories in Tokyo in cooperation with Netwatch, but we'll look at the motives for that a little bit further into the video. Evelyn, given her line of work, frequently visits Yorinobu in his penthouse suite on the top floor, descending into the basement of the club.
The fucking most out-of-pocket fucking thing I've ever seen with the Evelyn storyline was Adam Smasher and what he said after first meeting Evelyn. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know. I can't recite exactly what Adam Smasher said, but it was something really out of pocket. I was like, what the fuck? Anyways.
Evelyn introduces
Judy
Alvarez, a brain dance technician.
Ooh, Judy.
Brain dances, referred to often as BDs, are recordings of normal experiences seen through the eyes of someone else. Judy edits BDs.
Jody.
The reason this is relevant is that during one of Evelyn's visits to Yorinobu's place, she made a recording of the penthouse's layout. She recorded a brain dance and Judy edited it. Viewing the brain dance, V surmises that the relic is indeed inside the penthouse and is being kept inside a safe.
Dude, this brain dance took like 30 minutes.
Temperatures.
It's like a dead-ass
to Evelyn, she wants
mission.
to cut out Dex, Fixer. V tells Evelyn that you don't mess with your Fixer because it will cost you your reputation. After leaving Lizzie's, V heads to a bar called the Afterlife to meet with Dex, Jackie and T-Bug. The Afterlife is a hot spot for mercenaries in the city, and it's owned by a mercenary called Rogue. After going over the plan, Jackie and V suit up and hop into a Delamain and head to Konpeki Plaza. Getting there, and after hanging out with Hideo, V and Jackie, under the guise of a couple of arms dealers from New Barcelona, head to their room and get ready for the heist. V guides the flathead through various rooms into a security room. After incapacitating the Netrunner, V and Jackie head out and up to Yorinobu's penthouse. It's empty, so they get to work in obtaining the relic. They get it, but they receive word from T-Bug that Yorinobu is on his way back up. They hide behind a large TV screen and in walks Yorinobu with his terrifying half-human, half-cyborg bodyguard, Adam Smasher. Also joining the party is none other than the Emperor himself, Saburo Arasaka, along with his bodyguard, Goro Takamura, an ex-Special Forces Arasaka soldier with the skills and the cyberware to match. The two bodyguards leave the room, and an argument breaks out between father and son, and then Yorinobu murders Saburo. He then claims someone poisoned his father, and a full hotel lockdown is initiated. With the room empty again, T-Bug tells Jackie and V that they can attempt to escape via a balcony, but she is flatlined or fried by Arasaka's own and much more skilled
iguana eggs on that statue, by the way.
Interestingly, reading Saburo's diary on the roof,
that you saw?
he knew Yorinobu stole the relic. Saburo
There's a
also
lot of
wanted
things
to
that you can get at the start. You can get more than the pistol, I believe. You can go up to the roof and get something as well. I think you can get a knife or a katana or something as well up there. I forgot what you can get, but I believe you can get a throwing knife, pistol, and pretty good shit from just searching around the apartment before actually going to the story and falling to your death or whatever. Not fall, actually going to fall to your death, but yeah, you search around that apartment, you can find a lot of shit. It also helps you in the fight when you have to clear out and get out of the building. Yeah, which I learned in my second playthrough, not my first. My first, I was probably the noobiest of noobs, and people who watched that one was probably like, why, please do this, please do that. Anyways,
destroy Night City, literally, but his daughter Hanako talked him out of it. Anyway, V and Jackie escape by using the balcony, but have to jump for it because they are spotted by Arasaka forces.
Oh shit.
After a rough landing, they discover that the fall has damaged the case holding the relic, and it's damaging the relic's integrity. Jackie, in order to preserve it, slots it into his neural port so as to keep it at a stable temperature. Bad news though is that Jackie got shot. Avoiding a firefight or just ploughing through all of the guards, V and Jackie make it to the elevators and to their Delamain, which they manage to use to escape Konpeki Plaza. They got the relic, but at a cost. Jackie is dying as a result of his wounds sustained in their escape. Jackie gives V the relic, and after uttering some last words, he dies. V informs Delamain on what to do with Jackie's body, and then V goes to the agreed location to meet Dex, the No-Tell Motel, a place where lots of sordid stuff goes on. Heading into room 204,
there's a lot
V
of weird shit going on in the No-Tell Motel. It's not just Dexter Deshawn storyline. There's a lot of other weird shit going on in that fucking place. You meet Lizzie Wizzy, isn't Lizzie something as well in here, I believe, but oh my god. I also think you also fuck Meredith Stout in this one. In this motel. I forget which motel, but
speaks with Dex. The death of Saburo Arasaka is all over the news. Dex is worried he's been pulled into it and wants to distance himself, so he shoots V in the head and dumps their body into a landfill. Somehow V wakes up and crawls towards Dex, who is talking with another man.
Dexy Waxy.
It's Goro Takamura, Saburo's now ex-bodyguard. He's looking for Saburo's murderer. Dex pleads with Takamura, but Takamura shoots Dex point blank, calls Yorinobu telling him he has the killer, and throws V into his car. V passes out but wakes up, and Takamura is now being attacked by Arasaka assassins. It's obvious that Yorinobu knows that Takamura has suspicions about the nature of Saburo's death, so Yorinobu, now in charge of Arasaka, sent the assassins after Takamura with the goal of silencing him, along with V. V helps Takamura deal with the assassins, but they both end up in bad shape, so V calls Delamain and the trusty car turns up and takes them to see Vic. V wakes up and Vic tells the bad news. The relic contains the construct of one Johnny Silverhand. Let's break from the story for a bit in order to look at Johnny Silverhand.
Johnny
Silverhand was a military
baby.
veteran turned rocker boy who in 2023 was part of the Militech hired mercenary team that blew up Arasaka Tower using a tactical nuke.
But
that
did
was
he
their only goal. However, Johnny was there for another reason. You see, 10 years earlier, back in 2013...
Oh my mommy, Alt Cunningham, why did they use this picture? Oh my...
Johnny had a girlfriend called Alt Cunningham, a very skilled netrunner. She worked for a software development company called ITS and developed a program which was designed to capture and preserve the memories of people who were dying. ITS's goals were a bit more sinister though, and this program would be used against Arasaka agents and was used to imprison and interrogate them, later being named Soul Killer. Arasaka wanted the program and to make an AI out of Alt, so they paid some thugs to attack Johnny and to kidnap Alt. They succeeded. Johnny recovered though, and he, Rogue, the Aldecados nomad leader Santiago, and a journalist named Lyle Thompson stormed Arasaka Tower to find and save Alt, who by this point had built Arasaka their very own version of the Soul Killer program. Johnny found Alt and killed her captor, who was using Alt to...
Did you know that Alt might have not wanted him to get not wanted to get plugged out? If she didn't get plugged out like that, she might have been able to just live. normally. But now she's forever trapped in the black wall, or whatever it's called. I believe that's the theory. That like Johnny actually fucked her even more by coming in and taking that plug out. Like she could have just lived as a normal fucking person after this. She was doing her own heist and shit. Like damn.
To test the software. Johnny didn't know this though and disconnected her from the chain.
Oh, wait.
Using Alt version of the Soul Killer program. Johnny found Alt and killed her captor, who was using Alt to test the software. Johnny didn't know this though and disconnected her from the chain. This was fatal for Alt, and unfortunately for her, the AI version of her was now stranded inside the net after her
Yeah. So he just said it. But yeah, basically he probably fucked Alt even more than he helped her. He thought he was saving her. Unlucky, Johnny. You killed your girl.
consciousness fled into it. She's a ghost, but Johnny didn't know that part of her was left stranded in there and later held captive within the Arasaka subnet. Years later, Johnny would hear from Alt, or rather her rogue AI. However, she did tell Johnny not to come looking for her, and this leads us back into the assault on Arasaka Tower in 2023. After setting the mini-nuke, Johnny goes and feeds a virus into the Arasaka subnet, freeing Alt for good. All was going well until they had to leave, and Johnny was injured and captured by longtime nemesis Adam Smasher, who delivered Silverhand to Saburo Arasaka, who was at a safe distance away from the blast. Johnny, slowly dying, had his consciousness uploaded to the Soul Killer program, and he later died. So with that explained, let's return to the present day.
Main story.
So Vic explains that when V had died, being shot in the head by Dex, who used a low caliber bullet, the relic, via its nanites, essentially repaired the damage done to V and rebooted them. See, Yorinobu, when he'd stolen the relic from Saburo's labs, had purposely downloaded the engram of Johnny Silverhand off of Soul Killer and onto the chip. This was an attempt to lure out his father so he could kill him. It was also because of his partnership with Netwatch. Two birds, one stone. Given that the engram was on the relic did what it was programmed to do, to take over the brain and replace V's consciousness with Johnny's. Vic tells V that there's absolutely nothing they can do to stop it. He can't remove the biochip either, as it would kill V. On top of that, V is a ticking time bomb. Misty, Jackie's girlfriend, then takes V back to his apartment to rest. V is given 2 drugs, one to suppress Johnny's personality and one to give him temporary control. After getting some sleep, V wakes up and is staring at their new friend. It's Johnny. He's trying to take over. At some point after a struggle, V takes the Omega blocker and Johnny goes away. It's morning and V receives a call from Takamura. He wants to meet, so V meets him at a nearby diner. Takamura now does indeed know that Yorinobu killed Saburo, and he wants Yorinobu to answer for his crimes. He needs V to help by testifying to Hanako Arasaka, daughter of Saburo and Yorinobu's sister. Takamura wants to know where Evelyn is, as she'll know how to get to Yorinobu. Takamura surmises that Evelyn will probably be long gone by now, given what's happened. Takamura also mentions that he may have a lead on how to safely remove the chip, a man by the name of Anders Hellman, the man who created the relic, but who had since defected from Arasaka to a rival corporation called Kang Tao, and has disappeared. All the leads Takamura has found lead to one place, the afterlife. V calls Judy asking about Evelyn. Meeting up with Judy, who is cautious that V intends to use Evelyn as a scapegoat for the failed heist, it's revealed that Evelyn was working at a club called Clouds, which is run by the Tiger Claws gang. V arrives at Clouds and Evelyn was working at a club called Clouds, which is run as a scapegoat for
Look at Judy. Oh, pretty girl. Oh, pretty girl.
The failed heist. Arrives at Clouds and after
God, that was a scary skip. Oh my god, that was a scary skip frame. Oh my
investigating
god.
the details surrounding
Jesus.
Evelyn's last client,
Ooh.
he discovers that Evelyn appears to have been attacked by the client, but even further investigation reveals that Evelyn wasn't attacked at all.
Nope.
Since her job involved her connecting to the net, she was in fact remotely hacked by a netrunner who launched a virus onto Evelyn, sending her into a psychotic state.
Yep.
After a chat with the caretaker of Clouds and Oswald Woodman yields no fruit, V checked his computer. It appears that Woodman sold Evelyn's comatose body to a dodgy ripper on Jig Jig Street, goes by the name of Fingers. Leaving Clouds, V experiences their first attack. The relic is malfunctioning, a sign that V is deteriorating. Johnny lays out his ambitions. He has a 50-year-old score to settle with Arasaka, and he plans to use V's body to settle that score. He also claims to know how to save V's life and to get rid of the chip, to use the Soul Killer program inside of Mikoshi. Johnny reveals that he'll try and use Alt Cunningham in order to take down Arasaka, but again they need to get inside Mikoshi. After regaining their strength, V speaks with Judy and updates her on what they found. She's worried. Jig Jig Street is bad news. V and Judy go to talk with Fingers. He reveals that some XBD, Extreme Braindance editors took Evelyn. This is even worse. XBD editors essentially sell some dark braindances, murders, grape, and snuff. The XBD editors in question mentioned Evelyn will be good for the Death's Head XBD. Evelyn had been earmarked for a snuff XBD. V obtains a copy of the Death's Head, and after scouring it using a brain dance wreath, V and Judy are able to find out where exactly Evelyn has been taken. They infiltrate the place and find Evelyn, but she's in bad shape. Judy and V manage to rescue her, and they take her to Judy's apartment. V tries to talk to Evelyn, telling her he needs her help, but she's unresponsive. Speaking with Judy, it appears that Judy managed to salvage a raw brain dance from Evelyn's memories. The first one shows Evelyn meeting with a woman in a church. The mystery woman is asking Evelyn for a layout of the full room, obviously referring to Yorinobu's penthouse. It's assumed that this is who Evelyn was working for, and Judy mentions that whoever it is has some serious skills as a netrunner. V also notices some symbolism inside the church that they recognize as being used by the Voodoo Boys, the netrunner gang in Pacifica. It's now obvious that the Voodoo Boys were the ones who tried to flatline Evelyn at Clouds. A second brain dance reveals the Voodoo Boys' motive. You see, the Voodoo Boys have long wanted to breach and get beyond the Black Wall, and to get to Alt Cunningham. That's where the Engram came in. They wanted the Johnny Silverhand construct so that he could lead them to Alt. The Voodoo Boys knew that Evelyn was close to Yorinobu, so they handpicked her. V now has a solid lead, and they need to find the mysterious netrunner that Evelyn was talking to. Making contact with a mysterious fixer out of Pacifica named Mr. Hans. He says that the leader of the Voodoo Boys is a woman named Maman Brigitte. Hans tells V that he needs to go to a chapel in Pacifica, and someone will meet him there. Sure enough, V goes there and meets with someone. This leads to V being introduced to someone called Placide. Placide wants V to do a small job for the Voodoo Boys before they'll grant V a meeting with Brigitte. Another gang called the Animals Gang are holed up inside the nearby Grand Imperial Mall, and inside is something that Placide wants. It's a van. The van itself is Netrunner tech. After trying to access the van, it's revealed that there's a Netrunner inside the mall, and that the animals are hired security for him. After taking out an animal's boss, Sasquatch, V confronts the Netrunner, who is a Netwatch agent named Bryce Mosley. He explains that he's trying to take down the Voodoo Boys subnet, as his job is to fix breaches in the Black Wall. He's succeeded in trapping two of the Voodoo Boys' top netrunners, one of whom is Maman Brigitte herself. He then also warns V about the fact that the Voodoo Boys are planning to double-cross them, and shows V evidence of that by way of a virus that Placide had spiked V with prior to arriving at the Grand Imperial. V can either side with or go against Mosley, but whatever V chooses, the two Voodoo Boys netrunners are let go, and the virus in V's system is either wiped by Mosley, or V attacks Mosley and jacks into his system, leading to Placide trying to remotely flatline V, Mosley, and all the other Netwatch agents in the area. Mosley dies and V only survives due to the relic rebooting them once again. Seems that Mosley was correct. The Voodoo Boys were using V to do their bidding and tried to kill them. Interesting.
I didn't even realize that's what happened in the fucking goddamn playthrough. I didn't realize they fucking... Oh my god. Oh, I should have killed Placide, bruh. Oh my god, why couldn't I pick a fight with them then? I could literally take them out. Oh my god, bruh.
V also finds a message on Mosley's computer showing that Evelyn was planning to screw the Voodoo Boys
Sometimes
over as
I
well
wish the game just allowed me to take out whoever I fucking
She was
wanted.
just wanting the highest bidder. Returning to Placide, V confronts him. Brigitte finally shows her face now she's been freed, and she leads V downstairs. Brigitte says they need access to the chip, and that after they have the data they need, they will help V. To get the data they need, the Voodoo Boys will take V into cyberspace, the net, so that V can interact with the construct. The Voodoo Boys reiterate their desire to break through the Black Wall, and they say that only Alt Cunningham can give them that. Brigitte explains that when the Black Wall was built and installed, everyone thought that something called ICE, which is an intrusion countermeasure system, could keep wild AIs out. So V enters cyberspace. They speak with Brigitte and they are inside the Voodoo Boys' data fortress, their bridge to the deep net. They obtain a fragment from Johnny's construct, a memory, from the night that Alt Cunningham was taken by Arasaka and forced to make another version of Soulkiller. With this fragment obtained, V is sent through the Black Wall by Brigitte, and V speaks with Alt. Alt says that even though she designed Soulkiller, she's powerless to do anything to help, as Arasaka has since repurposed it. However, if she can get access to Mikoshi, she can help by untangling V and Johnny's neural networks and reinsert V's consciousness. Alt agrees to allow the Voodoo Boys beyond the Black Wall, and V leaves cyberspace. Now, if V sided with the Netwatch agent in the Grand Imperial Mall, then Netwatch killed the Voodoo Boys, including Brigitte, and V has to fight Placide. If V sided with the Voodoo Boys, Brigitte basically throws V out, and V can choose to attack or to just leave. V then has another relic malfunction, this one even more intense. Johnny says that they need to trust one another, and they agree that Mikoshi needs to burn. Corporations have taken over the world, and now they want everyone else as well. But V and Johnny now have a solid plan. But there are also other ways.
The main Phantom Liberty. Okay.
V receives a call from a mysterious woman
Phantom
who calls herself
Liberty,
So-Mi, but prefers to be referred to as Songbird.
I have not.
She claims to be able to help with
Liberty's
V's
endings,
predicament.
So.
She tells V that they need to head to Dogtown in Pacifica. Getting there, V suffers a massive relic malfunction. It floors them, and Johnny feels it too. Songbird introduces herself. Johnny speaks, but then Songbird touches Johnny. She's able to communicate with him. Their friendship doesn't last long though, as Songbird essentially mutes Johnny for the time being. V deduces that Songbird is a netrunner, and a damn good one too. This version of her is actually a construct. The real her is on board Space Force 1, alongside the president of the NUSA, Rosalind.
Who's Songbird and where can I get her number? Can we fuck or can we fuck? When will we so is she a romantic partner I can seek out, or Songbird?
Myers. The political sphere in regard to Rosalind Myers in Night City was not good. I mentioned earlier that she's the former CEO of Militech. The people of Night City already despised her for the Unification War, and judging from this petition on Keystone, the citizens of Night City are worried that she's going to take the country towards more armed conflict. Anyway, politics aside, Songbird reveals that the plane has actually been hacked, and is set to land in Night City, and their communications have been cut off. Tapping into the relic to contact V was Songbird's only option. Songbird needs V to ensure that the president's safety, as it's assumed that people will be searching for her, specifically Dogtown commander and dictator Kurt Hansen's men. Songbird suspects that Hansen himself is responsible for hacking the plane, and suggests that someone in Washington is a mole. Songbird then claims to be able to cure V. V gets going and makes their way through a parking garage and enters the EBM Petrochem Stadium. It was due to be home to the Night City Nighthawks, but was abandoned midway through construction due to the Unification War. It's still unfinished, obviously, and it's now a bustling black market. The whole of Dogtown is powered by the nuclear jet engine of a plane that was previously shot down by Kurt Hansen and his militia, named the Barghest. The Barghest policed Dogtown, but not really. They're only there to prevent all-out chaos. Dogtown is still a pretty lawless neighborhood. Climbing up for a better view, V sees Space Force 1 in the sky. Songbird tells them that they are descending, but then 2 missiles are fired at the plane. The first misses, but the second is a direct hit. Communications are now completely cut off, and the plane flies over V's head, crashing somewhere in Dogtown. V races to the crash site, and when they get there, they begin fighting off Hansen's Barghest goons. A president who is openly hostile and threatened war against the Free States isn't exactly a popular figure. Boarding the craft, everyone is dead, but after being attacked by her, V confirms that President Myers is alive. She handles herself well, likely due to her Militech past. Both Myers and V fight their way through Hansen's men. After helping Myers remove a tracker in her neck, and after avoiding surveillance drones, Myers and V drive to and arrive at an abandoned building on a street named after the previous president of the NUSA, Elizabeth Kress. It turns out this building is an old museum funded by Militech. Exhibits show buildings in Dogtown, urban renewal projects themselves funded by Militech. Militech headquarters, the Heavy Hearts Club, and a monument. It's not long though before more of Hansen's men arrive. To help them out, Songbird takes control of and unleashes a huge behemoth of a machine called the Chimera. After helping them though, comms with Songbird are cut, and V assumes that she may be having a fit, and the Chimera turns on V and Myers. They have to flee whilst the Chimera pursues them. V and Myers get separated and V falls down into another area along with the Chimera. A fight ensues and V, now reunited with Myers, defeat the beast. Finding an entrance to the subway tunnels, Johnny reappears. It seems that Songbird's disappearance is serious. They agree that they should proceed to the agreed meeting place. Journeying through the various connected buildings, they make it to the safe house. There's no one there. After getting the power on, V and Myers sit down for a beer and listen to a radio broadcast.
Kurt Hansen, the self-proclaimed leader of Dogtown, called a press conference.
Kurt Hansen. As soon as I heard their name, I just thought of Chris fucking Hansen.
Earlier today to offer his take on the situation.
I'm being framed. Isn't it obvious? The NUSA's been out for my blood for years. Now, I'm not without flaws. But another thing I'm not is suicidal. An attempt on the life of the head of the NUSA? What transpired in Dogtown is no trivial matter. I urge you all to consider the true motives behind this spectacle. The NUSA will take any excuse it can get to send forces into Dogtown. And will they stop there? No. You, good people of Night City, are next in the fucking line.
Truth is that Kurt Hansen also refused to leave Dogtown because he was annoyed at the treaty that Myers signed. What better way to start a war than by trying to assassinate the president of the NUSA? Myers speculates that that is exactly what Hansen is trying to achieve. V and Myers then hear commotion outside, and sure enough, two men, nomads, named Taylor and Jacob walk into the safe house. A standoff takes place. It can either end in bloodshed, or it can end peacefully. Whatever the choice, V speaks with Myers and she's concerned about Songbird. V then gets some sleep. The next morning, Songbird still hasn't made contact. Myers can't leave because Hansen will have all exit out of Dogtown covered, so it's time for plan B. Myers has someone who can help V track down Songbird, a man named Solomon Reed. 7 years prior, during the Unification War, he headed up the NUSA's intelligence efforts in Night City, and he was working alongside Songbird. Not only that, but he trained her. After that mission and after the conflict ended, Reed went into hibernation. He's an FIA, Federal Intelligence Agency sleeper agent still working for the NUSA. Myers gives V instructions on how to contact Reed, a secret communications channel hidden away at a fast food restaurant in Dogtown. Myers tells V that they need to show Reed that they work for the NUSA. Johnny protests, obviously, and V can either choose to or not to accept. Regardless of if they do or don't, they receive a coin which they can show to Reed as a sign that V is on his side. V heads to the restaurant and sure enough, there's a secret communications line. A person on the other side tells V to meet them at a basketball court. V sits there at the court and waits a while until a man sits behind them and shoves a gun in their back. V shows the man the token. It seems that Alex didn't know the real story about Reed getting shot.
Oh no. Fuck. My VOD just... Okay. Hold on. I might have to download 2 VODs then. Hold on. I'm gonna let it cool down and we'll watch in a second. Because I have to let VOD catch up. Alright, I think that's enough time passed. Alright, YouTube, sorry for the pause. Sorry for that. Anyways, if there's a pause in the video, it's because my VOD restarted and stuff, but let's get back to it.
Left for Dead. She'd only heard the cover story about Reed selling out to Arasaka.
Hopefully it wasn't
Despite
too
the tension,
bad.
Alex agrees to join the op.
I don't know
But with
when my VOD went down, but hopefully it wasn't too bad of a break. Actually, nah, it's fine.
Condition that she be relocated.
If you missed anything, YouTube, we were just going through the Phantom Liberty beginning of it. I'm pretty sure most of YouTube knows the Phantom Liberty beginning because the game's been out for a long time. Phantom Liberty's been out for pretty, I think, a decent while, I think. So, but yeah.
Located to Monaco and can leave Dogtown for good. Alex says they need a netrunner, a man called Wilkie Laguerre, nicknamed Slider. He's a voodoo boy who at one point held the position that Placide does, the right hand of Maman Brigitte. Let's just say there were professional differences. Brigitte obviously wanted to breach the Black Wall, while Slider just wanted to use cyberspace to carry out heists and assassinations. He got careless though, and FIA agents blinded him and forced him to be their informant. He tried to escape the FIA's grip by fleeing Pacifica and settling in Dogtown. So Reed and V pay Slider a visit at his illegal software operation. After taking out his protection, they speak with him. After he's done bigging himself up, Slider takes an interest in the relic and wants a look at it. After an initial shock, Slider mentions that when Songbird communicated with V, she was using the Black Wall to do it. Slider says that he fell out with the Voodoo Boys because they wanted to mess with the Black Wall, and that it's way too dangerous to dabble with anything related to the Black Wall. That includes reconnecting V with Songbird. Slider manages to reconnect V to Songbird anyway, but she states that when she hacked the Chimera, she was tracked down and detained by Hansen. Things start to get pretty hairy, so Songbird tells V to get to a place called the Black Sapphire, as Hansen is hosting a party there. An overload takes place and Slider gets flatlined, completely fried. Outside, Reed and V realise that they need a way into this party, so some prep work is needed. V gets in contact with the fixer, Mr. Hans.
Mr.
Of course, Hans wants a favour done first. So V completes 3 gigs for Hans and then goes to meet with the mysterious fixer at the Heavy Hearts Club. In exchange for the 3 gigs V completed for Hans, he gives V the plans for the Black Sapphire. V then goes to meet with Reed at the Moth Bar and has another relic malfunction. Reed then shows V an underground
Hard work, Bass. Thank you for the likes on the live stream. Much love, brother. Thank you,
part of
thank
the
you,
building,
thank you.
their old safe house. He opens up about the operation 7 years ago. 3 FIA agents went missing in Night City whilst racing to tie up any loose ends after the war ended and after the ceasefire was declared. All of them were assassinated by Arasaka. Reed says they managed to save a few more FIA agents, but at the cost of Reed himself. He then drops another bombshell. The NUSA were the ones that asked Songbird.
Are these like cutscenes in the actual game, or like do you get these cutscenes in the actual game, or are they like cinematics out of the game? Because holy shit, I might have to get Phantom Liberty. Also, Songbird, let me sing you a goddamn song. Anyways. Please let me hit. Anyways.
To pull the trigger. She didn't shoot
Daddy,
Reed herself as she wasn't there, but she unlocked a door allowing Arasaka agents to get to Reed. She was right there in that hideout, guiding Reed via comms, and purposely led him straight into a trap.
Reed!
Despite that, Reed still feels like he needs to save Songbird. He also says that he tried to access old mission files involving Songbird, but they were buried really deep. All of them are something to do with the Black Wall, and all of them were signed off by Rosalind Myers herself. Alex arrives and goes over the plan with V. V is to swim through a flooded access tunnel until they reach a terminal. After jacking into the terminal, Reed can enter the building. V will cover Reed and provide assistance so they can reach an elevator, and V and Reed will change into their party threads in the laundry room and enter the party. Inside, V and Reed recon the party. This party features some heavy hitters, including a group of people negotiating an arms deal, buying enough arms to start a small war.
So I'm like,
Songbird then makes contact with V and they talk on the upper level.
so she's like a robotic. It don't matter, girl. I'm still down. I'm
Songbird
still
is
down.
shocked to see Reed. It seems like there's a tiny little bit of awkwardness here. Songbird says that she cannot leave.
You ever
She
watched you? Wait, is it you? No, not you. Her? I think the AI where Scarlett Johansson's the AI. Is it her? I think the movie is her. I forgot which movie it was. But if you ever watched her or whatever that movie is, if you know what I'm talking about, it's that one movie where Joker's actor was in what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix something? I forget. But Joker's actor played a guy who was in love with the AI, I believe, who was voiced by Scarlett Johansson. So yeah, if you ever watched that, Songbird hit my lineup. Anyways,
she's dying, the Black Wall was killing her, and guess who has the cure? That's right, it's Hansen. It's not that she doesn't want to leave, she can't leave. She explains that Hansen pulled some sort of tech out of a bunker hidden underneath Dogtown. Songbird needs to stay close to Hansen for her plan to work. Once she has the tech, she can leave. Hansen then comes to say hello. Hansen drags Songbird away, but she touches V, re-establishing a connection to them via the black wall. Songbird explains that they need to get something called the neural matrix. It incorporates AIs from beyond the black wall. Songbird explains that they need to get something called the re-establishing a connection to them via the black wall. Songbird
that's kind
explains
of
that they need to get
insane.
something called the neural matrix. It incorporates AIs from beyond the black wall. It's a carrier for an AI that is trapped within certain boundary conditions. When the AI has been triggered, it'll carry out instructions based on what's stipulated within those conditions. It's currently nested inside a mainframe that Hansen pulled out of the bunker. Hansen needs Songbird and a pair of netrunners that he worked with in the past, and those two runners have the access codes needed to access the mainframe, since they both worked for Militech in the past. And they're willing to sell the access codes for the mainframe to Hansen. The plan is to impersonate the two runners and snatch the Matrix from right under Hansen's nose. V identifies these two runners, a brother and sister duo from Benelux, formerly Belgium, and their twins named Emmerich and Aurore Cassel. Speaking with Reed, he reveals what he thinks about the Space Force One crash. Songbird was behind the crash and had the plane land in a specific place controlled by the very person who had access to tech that could save her life. They surmised that Songbird had already made a deal with Hansen prior to the plane going down and had traded President Myers' life for access to the tech. Remember those files that Reed tried to access? Well, it seems that Myers pressured Songbird into the missions involving the Black Wall to breach it. And then after becoming infected by something from beyond the Black Wall, Songbird had had enough. Songbird contacting V to save the president was just a way to absolve herself of being responsible for Myers' fate by getting someone to save her. She was trying to play both sides, getting on side with Hansen and also making it look like she tried to save the president's life. Anyway, V needs to profile the twins, so after being given $80,000 worth of chips, V plays roulette with the twins and chats with them in an attempt to scan them. This will read their behaviours. V goes first, but for some reason Reed doesn't show up, so V has to read both of them on their own. They manage it, but Hansen shows up again. He says that he knows Reed is an FIA agent. He says that he also knows they were the ones who saved the president and got her out of Dogtown. Hansen then says that Songbird came to Hansen all on her own. And this adds weight to Reed's insinuation that Songbird planned all of this herself, tired of breaking international laws and breaching the Black Wall all on the orders of Myers, for Myers' own personal gain. Songbird was essentially Myers' very own WMD, and this would put Myers and the NUSA into majorly hot water with Netwatch, a fact that Hansen is fully aware of and eager to share. This means that if Netwatch finds out what Myers has been up to, she'll either have to take the fall, or she'll resist the entire world and spark another war. I think we all know what Myers would do. Militech would love another war to kick off. They'd make billions. Reed finally rejoins V and they both leave the party. Following day, V meets with Reed and Alex, and they go over what's next. The plan is to free Songbird, who, as we know, has been infected with something.
Song Somi, Songbird, Batty Batty, FIA, Solomon Reed, New York. Hey.
From beyond the Black Wall, and the cure is the AI that lives on the neural matrix. Alex learned that the neural matrix was developed as part of a project Sinosure. It was a joint venture between the NUSA and Militech in an attempt to counter Arasaka's Soul Killer. Songbird plans to use this AI to fix her and V. Hansen just wants the mainframe so that he can get sensitive data pertaining to—
Can you have multiple relationships in Cyberpunk? So let's say I'm already fucking with Panem. Can I go for Songbird? Or do I have to not kiss and love on Panem to be enabled to go for Songbird? Or can you even go for Songbird? I feel like you should be able to go for Songbird. I'm just saying.
The NUSA Militech Research Project.
There's no way they make her this bad and you can't have a sex scene.
So V and Alex are to impersonate the Netrunner twins by using extremely cutting-edge technology. Alex already has the tech herself, as we saw earlier on, but V needs to get it. Shortly after this briefing, V is contacted by Songbird, and they meet. She confesses what Reed suspected was true, that she was responsible for everything, that her reward for Hansen obtaining the president was the neural matrix. Songbird's plan was to secure the neural matrix whilst V was saving Myers. But of course, that didn't go to plan. Songbird knows that as soon as Hansen gets his hands on that data, Hansen will kill her. She asks V to trust her. She blames Reed for the situation because Reed is the one who recruited her. She says that she needs to get away from Reed, the NUSA, everything, and this is her chance. To do that, she needs V's help. Songbird knows that she'll be going to prison and is going to be tried for high treason, so V will have a choice to make, to go along with Reed and Alex's plan, or to help Songbird escape with the neural matrix. It seems that Songbird has already cut a deal with a black market clinic far away from the city. In order to create the cure for both her and V, they need the Matrix. They need Songbird present to run the tests, and when they're finished making the prototype cure, she'll send word back to V. Anyway, with that choice in the back of their mind, in preparation for the plan, V goes to see a Ripper doc and goes under the knife.
Fuck.
With the new tech in place after earlier breaching the tracking system of the car
right?
rental firm that the twins were renting a vehicle off of, V gets into the car's trunk and remotely drives it to a garage where the twins are incapacitated. After downloading the access codes, Alex and Reed kill the twins, much to V's shock. Despite V's disbelief, the op is now a go. The technology works a charm, and V and Alex transform into Emmerich and Aurora. They drive the rental to Hansen's fortress inside the stadium. Hansen asks various questions in order to make sure he knows exactly who he is talking to, if you catch my drift. After passing the test, Alex stays with Hansen whilst V goes down to the mainframe and comes face to face with Songbird again. V inputs the access codes into the mainframe, opening up the housing unit for the neural matrix. Remember the choice that V was presented with, to help Reed save Songbird or to help Songbird escape? Well, this is where that choice comes in.
So, I'm just saying, I'm going to help Songbird no matter what.
Choice comes in.
Phantom
V
Liberty
decides to help Reed
Cafe.
instead of Songbird. Songbird grabs the neural matrix and incapacitates V.
Wait, how come he didn't go through the main like storyline endings that you can have? Oh, unless did I accidentally skip it? Nope, I didn't. Interesting. Oh, he just did it at the okay.
Hansen then kills Alex. Whatever infected Songbird from beyond the black wall knew that V
Wait,
was
which
planning
one
to
is
then
this?
kills it. Songbird grabs the... If V decides to help Reed instead of Songbird, Songbird grabs the neural matrix and incapacitates V. Hansen then kills Alex. Whatever infected Songbird from beyond the black wall knew that V was planning to betray her and alerted Hansen. Songbird appears to have reached past the black wall and is channeling it. She uses it to flatline two of Hansen's men and then escapes. Songbird's infection has made her extremely powerful, extremely dangerous, and she's out of control. As expected, V has to blast their way through tons of Hansen's goons in order to make it to safety, but one final obstacle stands in their way: Hansen himself. After a long fight, V defeats Hansen and makes it to Reed's vehicle, and the two of them escape. They drive to an overlook and witness Max Tack taking Songbird into custody, assuming her to be suffering from cyberpsychosis. Maya says they need to get her back and alive. So Reed and V get to work in planning on getting Songbird back. V calls Mr. Hans, and after paying $15,000 to Hans, 10 hours later, V meets a netrunner working for Mr. Hans. V picks up a shard with the info on it and sends the data to Reed. Later on, V meets up with Reed at an old hotel. Reed has struck up a partnership with the 6th Street leader, and 6th Street do work for the NUSA from time to time. They are assisting in helping get Songbird back. The plan is to grab her and then get her to a spot just outside the border and exfiltrate her from there. 6th Street have booby-trapped some vehicles and will hopefully decommission the Max Tack transport, and they've got turrets, mines, and lots of other cool toys. They wait for the early evening and prepare to ambush the convoy, but Songbird makes contact. She tells V that she won't make the mistake of trusting them again and tells V to stay out of her way. They ambush the convoy and defeat the NCPD escort. Max Tack are prepared, and upon opening the doors to the prisoner van, V and Reed are caught in a firefight.
Oh, God.
After defeating the Max Tack officers, Songbird unleashes the Black Wall again and escapes in the Max Tack truck. After checking on Reed, who is injured, V goes after Songbird by following her trail. The trail leads V to a massive hole in the wall. Songbird smashed straight through the wall and down into an underground area. Finding the truck, she's no longer inside it, but she is leaving behind a spectral footprint, a black wall bleed. Only V can see it due to the link between them and Songbird. V follows this digital footprint to a bunker, the bunker where the mainframe was found. Yep, this is the bunker where the joint NUSA and Militech research project Cynosure took place. Songbird then appears on the screens. She tells V that Reed stole her life and that she won't let him steal it again. She says the Blackwall helps her understand everything. V follows more Blackwall traces to a laboratory. On the way down, Songbird attempts to establish a link with the relic, but Johnny says that Songbird is not alone, and then Johnny disappears. Terminals reveal that the project here ran out of funding after the project's main funding source, mineral deposits in Africa, were taken over by Arasaka. It's revealed that Project Cynosure deepened Militech's and the NUSA's knowledge of the net, and proved to them that it is man who wields power over AI, and not the other way around. It turns out that this wasn't going well, as many netrunners would die as they couldn't handle the AIs from beyond the Blackwall. A door forward is blocked, so V needs to unlock 4 data terminals to get it open again. What makes the task even harder is that after breaching the second terminal, V is now being pursued by a hostile robot being controlled by the Blackwall.
What the fuck?
V finds the third terminal whilst continuing to avoid
See, this is what you get for not choosing to help baddies, okay? We always choose to help baddies. Come on now.
robot, and finally V finds the fourth terminal. Through the door, V sees that
Hey, when you choose the ending in the main storyline, just know, always choose the baddie, not Rogue. The other baddie. Rogue's a baddie in her own right, but not that one.
Songbird is inside.
And then you have to think, who's the female version of baddie? And there's a secret ending to the main storyline.
The core.
Anyways.
A nearby shard mentions that in order to shut the core down, it's necessary to deactivate its subsystems. First, the neural link systems. Of course, it wouldn't be simple as V is still being hunted by the robot. As well as that, V has to deal with Blackwall attacks and lockouts. Nonetheless, V shuts down the 2 remaining subsystems. V goes to shut down the core, but once again is attacked by the robot. V is in cyberspace and is given a glimpse into other various memories from Songbird's life. The first shows a much more human-looking Songbird at her home in Brooklyn, with her friends surprising her on her birthday. V speaks with Songbird. She says that the Blackwall is consuming her and keeps on taking her memories away. She said she had one last chance and that V stripped her of it. Other memories follow.
Oh.
They show her cooking.
Oh, don't betray the Oh, so what the oh my god. Do you see that?
And then
Anyways.
another where she's consumed by net running.
Sorry.
By getting better at it. She started to make a lot of money thanks to her talents, and then she spent it all on better equipment. She'd end up being so consumed with what she was doing that she'd ruin relationships with her friends and loved ones. She'd run the net for days on end. Then, after gaining quite the reputation, Songbird was approached by the FIA, or more specifically Solomon.
Ruining friendship, being in the net all day. Wait, she deadass was she's like that David Martinez's girl. The Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Mia no. What's her name? Oh my god, Lucy. I got there eventually. She's deadass like Lucy after the incident. Anyways.
Reed. She'd got someone's attention. Reed told her that Netwatch would be coming for her sooner or later, and that she'd be safe with him in the FIA. So she joined, albeit reluctantly. Given that the FIA had access to cutting-edge cybernetics and equipment, Songbird went under the knife and got the sweetest upgrades without paying a single Eurodollar. She pretty much became a human cyborg hybrid. Songbird was then sworn in as an FIA agent for Myers to do with as she pleased. V tells Songbird that they'll save her, but the Blackwall starts to devour everything around them. Songbird tells V to look for her inside the core and to help her. The robot stopped attacking and then is shut down. V enters the core. Songbird is there, hooked up to the core and to the Blackwall. Songbird says that she is fading. She wants V to help her die, as the Blackwall has taken over nearly all of her. That's why she was there, to end it herself, but she was actually too weak to do so. If she can't die, she'll be forever lost, searching for herself beyond the Blackwall, with no idea who she was. So V has another choice to make, to help Songbird die or to refuse. Reed turns up and is either gutted that Songbird died, or they carry her out of the core and to his vehicle. They then drive to the border to meet with Myers. Songbird is then taken away by NUSA personnel. V speaks with the
Wait, so I missed
or they
that
carry her out of the core and to his vehicle. They then drive to the border to meet with Myers. Songbird is then taken away by NUSA personnel. V speaks with the president. They can either shake her hand or refuse. V asks the president to let them know when Songbird recovers, and she replies that that will be impossible in the interest of national security. We know by now exactly what Myers' plan for Songbird is. To get her back up and running again so she can further her goals of breaching the Black Wall. Myers isn't going to stop. Myers didn't want to let Songbird go. 1, Songbird was central to her goals, and 2, Songbird being alive out there meant that the NUSA wasn't safe. What she knew had the potential to spark another war. This is another reason Reed was scapegoated by Myers. Songbird was more important to Myers than Reed was, so she made up the cover story about Reed selling out to Arasaka. Speaking with Reed, he asks V to give him a few days to arrange the help he'd promised them, to get rid of the relic. So V returns to Night City and awaits Reed's call. Alright, so that was Path A, if you like. So let's look at what happens if V decides to help Songbird out instead of Reed.
By the way, in the ending, you lose all your friends and everything. But there's a theory that they purposely made you lose everything ever and pretended that you were your cyberware doesn't work, just so they can have like a sleeper agent, just like what's his name? Reed.
Songbird appears to be struggling. Songbird tells V that as soon as Hansen is down, for them to run. Songbird then tries to breach the stadium's defenses by reaching past the Black Wall, and she carves out a path for them to escape by turning the stadium defenses against Hansen's men. Alex then takes out Hansen, and a massive Black Wall explosion causes major damage to the area and everyone there. Fighting through what's left of Hansen's men, Songbird and V escape the stadium through the sewer tunnels and come out at a homeless camp in the Biotechnica flats. Transport arrives to pick Songbird and V up, and they leave in separate cars. It isn't long before Reed calls V on the holo. As you'd imagine, he's not happy. Tells V that they are a disappointment and they are helping a traitor who tried to kill the president. She has essentially gone to war against her own country. Reed tells them that there's nowhere they can hide. Songbird calls shortly after and she doesn't sound great at all. She asks for V to meet her by the N54 news building. V gets there and she's in the back of a van. She's deteriorating fast, struggling to breathe, and she's seeing dark spots. They're headed to the spaceport. Songbird is going to fly to the moon. There's a lunar base there, and Songbird, as discussed earlier, will be their lab rat, and as soon as the cure is available,
she's
she'll
dead
contact
as
V.
Lucy.
Arriving at the port, V heads inside and finds a way to the Tycho terminal. Problem is, it's shut because it's being renovated. But V finds a way inside. V then opens up a side door for Songbird. As they're pulling Songbird up there with a fire hose,
it's like
they
a
suffer
parallel
another relic
to fucking
malfunction.
David.
Songbird manages to make it up there though, and V and Songbird use an elevator to get to the roof. But Myers and her men have arrived. Entering a vent to escape them, Songbird and V overhear their conversation. They know V is there at NCX, but they don't know Songbird is there. Yet. Then Myers says this.
There's one more thing, Saul. The project she was part of stays well under wraps. None of it leaks.
This is bad. Really bad.
If our little bird lands in the wrong hands, I don't want to think what will happen.
All that. We're the only ones privy.
It would destroy the NUS. It's not a risk I'm willing to take.
We're on the same page. No risks. That's how it'll be.
Do you hear that?
Just so you know, this isn't any easier for me, Reed. I liked the girl, trusted her. But with some choices, there's no way
Hello,
back.
pretty,
Choices?
baddie.
Yours
I'm
or
going
hers?
to
Say again?
You heard me. No matter. I know what I have to do, and I'll do it.
I authorize you to take any and all necessary action. Just try not to shoot her in the head.
V and Songbird then return to the main Tycho terminal. The NUSA are there in a gunfight with spaceport security. Despite opposition and avoiding a helicopter attack, V and Songbird make it to the departures terminal. The NUSA are there to stop them, and after defeating the operatives, Songbird and V reach the control tower. Songbird needs time to bring the train in, so V needs to buy her some time by engaging more of the NUSA's forces. The train arrives. V uses Songbird's biomonitor as a bridge and uses it to access the Black Wall, letting out a pulse that annihilates everything within range. Walking to the train, V becomes a proxy and uses Songbird's access to the Black Wall to fry all the operatives in their way. Then they are able to board the train and make their way to the lunar shuttles. On the way, Songbird says that Reed isn't the only one that she's betrayed. She reveals that the neural matrix can only be used once. She explains that it's a captive AI from beyond the black wall that relies on continuous evolution to exist. Songbird aims to free it and then end the process, and the AI will irretrievably disintegrate. She lied to V so they'd help her. Arriving at the terminal, V has a choice: to pick her up and take her to the shuttle, sending her to the lunar base with the Matrix, or to call Reed and give her up to him. Whatever's chosen, V carries Songbird to the shuttle. Either one of two things happens here. V can refuse to give Songbird over to Reed, leading to V having to kill Reed. They then strap Songbird into the lunar shuttle and send her off to the moon, watching whilst they chat with Johnny. V ends up by the roadside in the very same predicament they started out in. On the other hand, V can give Songbird up and Reed loads her onto an AV. Reed makes a deal with V that he'll give him the cure at Langley if he gets Songbird. Reed then boards the AV and Reed tells V that he'll be in touch soon. V then leaves the port and ends up by the side of the road and has a chat with Johnny. We'll cover the Phantom Liberty endings at the end of this video, as I'll cover every ending in the game together, but for now, we'll dive back into the main story.
So you're telling me she dies no matter what? I'm not playing Phantom Liberty. Fuck you.
Following up on Takamura's lead in regard to Anders Hellman, V visits the afterlife to seek out Rogue. She's having a disagreement with another woman, a former member of the Aldecado's Nomad clan, a woman named Panam Palmer, who storms off. After paying Rogue 15 grand, she comes up with the goods: a shard with intel on Hellman. It turns out that due to Hellman defected from Arasaka, he's been protected by his new employers, Kang Tao. Rogue has discovered that Hellman will be travelling along a Kang Tao convoy route. The tricky part is actually getting to the AV which is carrying Hellman, as it'll be in Night City airspace and will be impossible to hit without NCPD getting involved. The other problem is that if they let them go too far outside of the city...
We already know all of this. We've seen the Arasaka... if you want to see all these endings, go to my YouTube and look up my playthrough and look at the endings. We did Arasaka, Caldos. We have not done the Rogue ending. We're not gonna watch the Rogue ending because I already know what happens, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys already know what happens. But I'm gonna see the the Reaper ending. Is that the secret ending? That's the secret ending with Johnny, I believe. I'm gonna watch this one, and then I want to see Songbird lives.
Now, there was also a secret ending to the base game where if V's relationship with Johnny was at maximum, he and V could make a decision to go on a death run and storm Arasaka all by himself, meaning that no one else had to die. No, I wasn't able to get that ending myself, so unfortunately I cannot show it you. Able to get Arasaka all by themselves, meaning that no one else had to die. No, I wasn't able to get that ending myself, unfortunately, Phantom Liberty endings. If V followed Path A and chose to help Reed out, instead of Songbird after dropping her off with Myers' people, Reed messages V and asks to meet where they first met. Reed explains that Songbird will live, but that her nervous system is fried. Her body didn't accept the neural matrix, so it's being kept in storage at Langley for V. Reed, with a hint of disappointment, says that Songbird may be able to return to active duty. He knows what that means, as President Myers' only point of access to the Black Wall. Reed explains that he's been summoned back to Washington by Myers for a desk job assessing new FIA recruits. Reed calls a day later and agrees a meeting point with V, the rooftop of Misty's Esoterica. If back in the core V chose to help Songbird die, then the ride to the border after Reed collects her is a little bit more awkward. Reed is mad at himself for not getting there earlier, and definitely mad at V for allowing Songbird to die. Seeing that her prized asset is now dead, Myers isn't happy, as V has failed in their mission, and as a result Myers refuses to help V with getting rid of the relic. This was probably the worst ending in Phantom Liberty, as everything that V went through was for absolutely nothing, and will likely die in the next 6 months. So if choosing to save Songbird when carrying Songbird through to the shuttle, Reed will emerge from it. He demands that V hands Songbird over. If V refuses, they have to kill Reed. V then panics but straps Songbird into the shuttle and she flies off to the moon whilst V has a chat with Johnny. Sitting by the side of the road a few hours later, V has no option than to pursue another way to get rid of the relic. therefore going with one of the base game's endings. So for this ending, there were two choices to give Songbird up: by calling Reed, or by carrying Songbird to the shuttle and changing your mind, letting Reed take her. Either way, as we saw earlier on, Reed puts Songbird into an FIA AV and boards it. He then tells V that he'll be in touch. Sure enough, a couple of days later, Reed calls V and they agree to meet at a gas station. Reed explains that he's on his way to Washington. Reed then calls a couple of days later and arranges for the AV to pick V up from the roof of Misty's, and V leaves Night City. Now let's discuss the results of the operation.
It was successful.
So after arriving at Langley,
Yeah.
V went under the knife. They
Not
then
successful.
wake up, extremely groggy, with Reed there with them. Reed shares news regarding the operation. It was a success, but V's nervous system is done for after the surgeons had to cut the engram out safely. V cannot ever use their combat implants again, otherwise it'll kill them. V's life as a mercenary is now effectively over. What's more is that V has been in a coma for 2 years. It's the year 2079. Reed tells V that they can give him a job at Langley. V declines, for now. V thanks Reed and Reed then leaves. V contacts the people they knew and were close to in Night City. Depending on relationships built up in the game, Panam didn't answer her phone, so V left a message. Mitch later contacts V and asks him not to contact Panam, as it took her a long time to let V go. Judy has left Night City.
It took her a long time to let me go. Don't let me go. What the
and is now
fuck,
happily married and
Panam?
living in Pittsburgh. River,
Keep
well,
fighting.
things haven't gone
Keep
well
fighting
for River. He's
for
different.
me.
Turns out he'd fallen on hard times after the costs for his nephew Randy's rehab spiraled. So he did a deal with Trauma Team and sent them a load of NCPD secrets. He's effectively become the very thing he hated, a dirty cop. Then V calls Victor. At first, Vic thinks it's a prank call, but is glad to see that V is still alive. He doesn't believe for a second that V is done for in terms of his implants and invites V to come see him at his clinic. V then returns to Night City, and Delamain says that a lot has changed. Arasaka moved their operations out of Night City. Yorinobu stepped down as CEO shortly afterwards after the board found out he was trying to sabotage the company, and Hanako Arasaka is dead. A post-credits message from Takamura states that he's been on the run for 2 years after they attempted to confront the Arasaka board, as they did in the Arasaka ending, and it all went tits up. Takamura has been earmarked as Hanako's murderer. Militech are now the big boys in town. Their security forces are all over the city protecting new corporate locations. V fell into arrears for obvious reasons, and their apartment has now been sold along with all their belongings.
Wait,
For
what?
obvious reasons, protecting new corporate locations. V fell into arrears for obvious reasons, and their apartment has now been sold along with all their belongings. Rogue reveals post-credits that V, after they disappeared for 2 years, was considered a legend of Night City. She says the door is always open at the afterlife, but that the more often V goes there, the more that legend wilts and dies. Exiting the cab, V walks to Vic's clinic. Misty's Esoterica is no longer there. It's been bought out by a cybernetics corporation called Zetatech. It seems that Vic's clinic was also bought out by Extension, and that Vic is now working for them. After some banter about his awful uniform, Vic runs a diagnostic on V, but it's not good news. It's exactly as Reed said. V's previous life is over. Misty doesn't like the fact that Vic gave in so easily to a corporation, so she's left on bad terms with Vic, which upsets him. Vic and V are catching up when one of his clients walks in and demands treatment, as they got into a scuffle with Petrochem. V promises to keep in touch with Vic and leaves him to his work. It turns out that Vic wouldn't be there long, as he'd soon be shipped out by Zetatech to work in San Francisco. Leaving the area, V is cornered by 2 street thugs who believe V is loaded after they left a Zetatech store. V attempts to fight back, but even after a life of being a force to be reckoned with, they struggle to even throw a punch and are humiliated. They try to pick themselves up and are helped up by Misty. She reveals that she's leaving for good, going to Poland.
Literally got baddie, bro. Like, why did she turn baddie after I went in a coma for 2 years? Like, what the fuck?
As that's where her family are from. After a nice chat, V and Misty part ways. She leaves for the airport and V walks off into the crowd. A nobody, just another Night City resident that the city chewed up and spat out. The game then ends. It's still not really confirmed which ending is the true and canonical ending. But which one do you think is the canon ending? Comment down below.
Can I say the suicide one?
So to finish, there are a few loose ends which weren't tied off during my explanation of the main story. When meeting Meredith Stout in the mission to retrieve the Flathead, she had a mold problem inside Militech. Someone was communicating with the Maelstrom. She thought that someone to be another Militech employee named Anthony Gilchrist. He pleaded his innocence, however emails from within the All Foods factory confirmed Gilchrist to be the mole. If V wasn't of a corpo persuasion and didn't understand the email from Gilchrist to Maelstrom, then Meredith would have been thrown out to sea by her employers.
Oh yeah.
Quite literally. Gilchrist would then take her position. After Jackie's death, an ofrenda was held at El Coyote by Jackie's mother, and V was gifted Jackie's bike. After Evelyn was saved from the XBD scav, she flatlined herself. V then helped Judy seek some revenge against Woodman and to liberate Clouds from Tiger Claw control, and gave that control over to the Mox. After one final quest with Judy, this is when she revealed she'd be leaving Night City for good. If Judy was romanced by a female V, then she'd be present during the Aldecaldo's ending and would leave Night City that way instead. After the fall of Kurt Hansen, Mr. Hands immediately got to work in moving the proverbial chess pieces in regard to politics in Dogtown. There was a power struggle between two members of the Barghest militia, Yago and Bennett, clashing whilst vying for control, and Mr. Hands wanted them to be working together. So V, using that shape-shifting technology, posed as a famous and notorious cartel assassin and convinced them to work together. There were loads of other cool side missions in the game. There's too many for this video, unfortunately. Notable ones were the other cool side
Are they hanging out with the Maelstroms?
missions in the game. There's too many for this video, unfortunately. Notable ones were the River Ward side missions and the Kerry Eurodyne ones where you let Johnny take over and play one last gig with his tunes. But those ones don't really have any significance to the story, really.
Yeah,
and that is
they
it
kind
for
of don't.
this
I
video.
played all of them.
It's been a long one, but if you
River's,
enjoyed it, then please
the River side story is really fucking weird. I can't lie.
leave a like.
And if you're a girl, both of them try to fuck you. Apparently Carrie's bi, and apparently Carrie tries to fuck the male version of Via as well, but I did not know that. But yeah,
subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new videos. Comment down below with your thoughts, but for now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
that was a good video. Good summary of what had happened in Cyberpunk. I really like the beginning. I never knew about all this beginning part. Yeah, that was really good. Make sure you go check out Gaming Harry. I'll leave his channel in the bio or description, sorry, and link to the video. Anyways, sorry. YouTube, if you like that video, make sure to like and subscribe. Anyways.